how to forge a charge against Jesus to get the death penalty from the Roman authorities. The whole trial was nothing but a mockery. Now, section verse 15 through 18, we see first denial by Simon Peter. And Simon Peter followed Jesus, and so did another disciple. You want to guess who that disciple was? John didn't like mentioning his own name. He always refers to himself as the disciple the Lord loves the most, or or another disciple. That disciple was known unto the high priest, and went in with Jesus into the palace of the high priest. So John just goes on in. The other disciple was John. Obviously, John apparently had an in with those in Jerusalem, and this enabled him to get a pass for someone else to come in. I want you to see that John apparently was known in these circles. It makes you wonder if he was probably a Pharisee that was converted and followed Jesus instead of being like Nicodemus. But anyway, and for John to go in there was no temptation at all. However, it was fatal for Simon Peter to go in there. He should have run away. Simon, run, Simon, run. He was standing on the outside when John got the permission for him to come into the inner court. I want you to see this little byplay at the palace of Caiaphas, verse 16. But Peter stood at the door without. Then went out that other disciple, which is John, which was known unto the high priest, and spake unto her that kept the door, and brought in Peter. John had a entry, but Peter is a poor fisherman from nobody, whom nobody knows, and he can't get in. John tells the girl at the gate that this is a friend of his, and so he brought Peter in. Simon Peter was scared to death. You see, John was at home here, but Simon Peter had never been in that crowd before. Peter was a big mouth, and he just was has to talk. Remember, other gospels tell us that the girls spot him as a Galilean because his speech betrayed him. He talks too much. He's nervous in there. A little wisp of a girl makes him deny the Lord. There is an application for us here. You and I have no right to put our little ideas of separation down on another Christian. Another Christian may be able to go where you cannot go. It was wrong for Simon Peter to go in there, but it was not wrong for John. So, you know, some of you, I wouldn't recommend if you're an alcoholic going to a bar and witnessing to people. But if you never drink, that might be a good place to go witness to people, as long as they're not drunk. If you get there before at the beginning of happy hour. Verse 17, when then saith the damsel that kept the door unto Peter, art not thou also one of this man's disciples? He saith, I am not. She knows the followers of Jesus are there and assumes Peter is one of them. She just asks the question as he is about to go through the gate. Aren't you one of that man's disciples? He says, I am not. And walks on through. Verse 18. And the servants and officers stood there who had made a fire of coals, for it was cold. Granny coals, I guess. And they warmed themselves, and Peter stood with them and warmed himself. Outside the palace grounds, the people are gathering. Not many at that time of morning, but the guards are there to keep order. They build a fire, and Peter stands with them, warming himself.